So I'm going to do the breakdown of the hormone for the thyroid hormone. And I'm gonna break it down into little pieces. So how it begins is it begins in the hypothalamus. And then from that point it actually goes to the anterior pituitary. And if you're looking, I guess here is a brain. Here's the cerebellum, here's the pons and the medulla oblongata down there. And if you're looking at the hypothalamus in here would be the pituitary gland. And this part right here, if I circle it better, this is the anterior pituitary gland. It's going to be, when you're looking at the brain anteriorly, you'll see the anterior, and the posterior is always in the back. The posterior has two hormones that go with it. It's oxytocin and antidiuretic hormone. And the anterior pituitary has 6 hormones. And I'll discuss those later, but we're going to talk about just the process of the thyroid. Okay, so next, after the anterior, after a hypothalamus releases thyroid tropin releasing hormone. So even if you think about the name of it, like it's releasing into the anterior pituitary. And then I'm just going to abbreviate that. And then the anterior pituitary is going to be releasing thyroid stimulating hormone. So you can abbreviate that as TSH. Okay. And then after that, then it hits the thyroid gland. So you see, it's kind of a quick process, you know, so it hits the thyroid. And remember, that was when we drew the larynx last time. It was on, if you're looking at it, this is the thyroid. And if you actually were to, if you were to cut me in half this way, down the middle, you would see on the back side of my neck is my parathyroid. So this is the thyroid, the parathyroid. But we're just talking about the thyroid right now. So once that happens, once the anterior pituitary releases thyroid stimulating hormone to the thyroid then releases T3 and T4, which is what we talked about last video, into most cell bodies. And so the release of T3 and T4 is, remember, it needs iodine. And so, but one thing I totally forgot to mention is that in this part from the hypothalamus to the anterior pituitary, it actually travels through a hypophyseal portal system. So it'll kind of, if it's weird, it looks like this, and just imagine like just little, thyroid tropin releasing in through the here, I'll write it up for you guys if you can see it. Portal system. And so kind of how I view it as is like from the hypothalamus to the anterior pituitary, I think of like a planet. Like I'm traveling from hypothalamus planet all the way down to anterior pituitary. So it's like, and I need some sort of portal system. So I think of like back in, this futuristic world where everyone was traveling through portals and, dimensions. And, that's how I think of it as like, this is like a space thing. I'm traveling through space. So it's in our bodies. So from the hypothalamus through the hypophyseal portal system releases thyroid tropin releasing hormone to the anterior pituitary. Then it releases thyroid stimulating hormone to the thyroid. So it starts from here and goes all the way down to the thyroid. That's the main thing it's getting to. And so then T3 and T4 are released from the thyroid, and that then sends it out to the rest of the body. And so in order to, you know, stop it, T3 and T4 shut off both parts of the hypothalamus and the anterior pituitary from like getting back into it. So instead it goes, you know, I'll explain in the next video.